bound, chicka chicka bound, chicka chicka bound. Well, oh, look at what we're wearing today. Look at this, gents. Assuming there's no ladies here. Stylish as fuck. So, we're back. Listen, you lot. We're in the room again. I'm sorry. I apologise because listen, I'm bored of it as well. But at the moment, recently, we just have not had the bloody time to be getting out and about. It has been a busy time. Just angling the camera a bit better. So, first of all, Framed Episode 11. I'd like to start off by addressing last week's episode, as has become common practice. It's kind of what I do now. Beginning of every episode, I talk a little bit about the last one. So my points or my feelings towards the last one, a bit somber, you know. The energy was not there. Granted, my dog had just died. Now, it's an interesting one because I tell myself, you know, it was just a dog and whatever, and I shouldn't be as sad, but I was very sad, and I still am, because it was a big thing. So I was not in the best of spaces. So if the tones of that episode were quite, you know, depressing and somber, then fair enough, that kind of checks out. What we're going to be talking about today. So today, we're going to talk about a topic which I am probably the topic I'm most well versed in, actually, considering I'm actually qualified. So we're going to talk about it because I find it interesting and it's a very popular, constant topic on the interwebs and everywhere. So we're going to talk about it today. We're just going to talk about health, fitness, eating, all of the above, and I will talk about my experiences with that and what I've learned, and then hopefully share some wisdom. Sweet. So to start off, I am a qualified personal trainer, and I was going down that path. But I realised it just wasn't for me. The whole industry, I just didn't like it. I enjoyed the learning and, you know, the gaining of knowledge. I received mentorship from some like the top dogs in the area, with like decades of experience. So I learned a lot more than I should have done in the time that I did, you know. So I became very knowledgeable about some pretty crazy stuff. I, you know, really down the rabbit hole over just this last year, really. So yeah, then I got into the industry and I started to realise that it wasn't for me. The whole, just all of it really, the whole culture behind it. The only bit I liked was the element of getting the people results, but there's a lot that comes with it, with the PT industry, that a lot of people don't know about on the surface level, and it's just a lot of things that I wasn't particularly happy with. And when I kind of sat with myself and thought, I recognised that there wasn't a future in it for me. Like, was it going to be something I could do long term? No, probably not. But it's good now to have the knowledge that I do from my learning, just so I can implement that in my personal life and educate a little bit more about it on here and to, you know, people I care about, etc. So that's helpful. This channel actually used to be a PT channel, like a fitness channel. All those videos are private now, but they were helpful. They were really helpful. Just videos for fat loss and like training, like all sorts, and I found them really helpful. But as I said, they were just very means to an end. They weren't particularly purposeful, and I wasn't really enjoying making those type of videos. I just thought, if I do this, I can get the money, you know. So, needless to say, we sacked off being a PT, but I'm happy that I still know what's going on. can look after myself and others. So that's really cool. So I would say, accidentally move the camera there. I'd say the reason I became a PT in the first place was because I was kind of just racking my brains for my skill set, because I was at a point where I was just feeling very lost, I suppose, which has been a pretty constant theme throughout like the past year, but that's okay. So yeah, I was feeling a bit, lost, and I thought to myself, what do I know, what have I done in the past, and what do I already know a little bit about? And that was like fitness and training, because I used to be I was a chunky monkey. I was a big boy growing up, and all the way through my teens, I was a fatty fad. And needless to say, I lost the weight, got in really good shape, going to the gym constantly, got absolutely obsessed with that whole bodybuilding world, but I really want to talk about that later on. So yeah, I got obsessed with like bodybuilding and all that, and yeah, got into that, got going. So that's why I wanted to become a PT originally, because I knew quite a bit already, more than most people. I'd say even more than most people who would go to the gym. So I was very knowledgeable already. So I thought, why not? Why not just go out and start doing this? But then the problem was, and as selfish as it sounds, because it does sound selfish, but I'd learnt those things for me to help myself. And it sounds really bad, but when you have to do that for a job, it all of a sudden doesn't become as good anymore. And that just showed me that it wasn't for me. I was like, well, I'd been training people for free, training myself, but the second money came into it and it was full time, I didn't want to do it anymore, because it wasn't something I was like 100% interested in. It was just something I was good at. So when you look at the criteria for what you want to do long term as a career, the criteria is you need to be proficient, it needs to be profitable, and what's the other one? Profit. I've lost my train of thought here completely. It's a diagram, right? I'm not losing the plot. You might have seen it before, and it's a diagram that helps you decide like a career or business or whatever. And it's proficiency, profitability, and what is the last one? It'll be in here. I'll have it in my notes. I swear to God. This is important to me now, because here it is. We've got it. I knew I'd have it here. Yes. How could I forget? It's profitability, proficiency, and passion. So that's what you do. You draw that out for if you're trying to figure out what to do with your life, and you try and find something which is all free. So you're good at it, it makes money, and you're passionate about it. The only issue was, I would say with the PTing, I had the proficiency, I definitely didn't have the passion. That was the problem. So that's why I had to draw a line underneath that. And if you're feeling lost as well, lost in the sauce, use that little diagram there, the proficiency, profitability, and passion, because that's actually a really helpful way. It's like a Venn diagram. What you want is something in the middle with all three. That's a little side tangent there. So yeah, used to be fat, so I thought, hey, give PTing a try, and see what goes on from there. So needless to say, not doing that anymore. What I'm doing now is I'm just looking after my own health, and the health of those around me who are interested. So what I will share from my findings is currently I'm in good shape, and I've not been doing the cutting and bulking kind of thing. What I've been prioritising is just functional movements in my sport of Muay Thai, and eating well, eating very well, mainly whole foods, plenty of fat, but not like not seed oils or anything like that. Like animal fats and butter and eggs and stuff like that has been a priority, and lots of salads as well, and fruit and fermented milk like kefir and yogurts and stuff like that, and honey and seeds. All these type of things are things I've been eating a lot of, and they've been keeping me lean and they've been keeping me functioning and at a good level. So if you want to find out a little bit more in detail about what in my opinion is the best type of diet to have, actually just leave a comment and I will send you kind of like a list of things that I would aim to have as very big part of your diet. So that's what I've been doing recently, just focusing on myself, my fitness and all of that, because I'm still injured. So I'm still not 100% back to being able to train as much as I'd like to. I've still got a back injury, surgery's pending, so we're gonna be all good at some point. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. But I go through periods of, because I'm not the biggest. You can tell I work out if I'm wearing a t-shirt, or even if you just see me in person and I'm wearing a jumper. You can tell I work out because I'm quite broad, and you can tell I've lifted weights. But every now and again, I sit and I think to myself like, but if I was bigger, like just a little bit bigger, my arms were a little bit bigger, and this and that, maybe that'd be better. Or if I was just a little bit leaner, or and that really bothers me, and it's a problem because at this stage of life where I'm at, I've got a lot of stuff going on already. I've got a lot of shit going on. I've got this, which I'm taking very seriously. It's a big priority to me because I'd love to be able to do this full time. I've got a sales job. I've got some other bits and bobs going on. The last thing I need is just another thing to be kind of crunching the numbers on in my head, and I find that happening so often. I'll just be sat there and I think, I could do with being a bit leaner. Let's start cutting, or maybe I want to be a bit bigger. Let's start bulking. But we got to bulk this way. We don't want to get like too fluffy. We got to bulk this way. We got to cut this way. We got to start implementing this new method of training or this new method of training. It's just another fucking thing for me to think about. And to tie this in to the problem, what I think the problem is, over years I've been kind of conditioned by social media. I'm sure a lot of people, especially people who exercise and lift and take their health seriously, can relate to this. It's almost like we've been given body dysmorphia by social media. So we see obviously all these absolute fucking gearheads, posing about on the social media, they've all got little snatched waists and all 8% body fat and all huge and all on roids and genetically superior. And we see that, and it just gives us such an unrealistic expectation of what we should look like and what we should be doing, etc. And it's a tricky one. It really is a tricky one, because I do find that creeping up on me, and it bothers me a lot because I don't look bad at all. I look good. I'm in good shape, and I'm working to be functional. And for Muay Thai, which is what I prioritise, I don't want to be big, slow, and sluggish. That's not what we want. But every now and again, you'll see something, you'll see someone, and you'll think, if I was a little bit bigger, it might be nice, or like whatever. And then you start feeling insecure. You think, maybe, am I fat? Like, obviously, I'm not fat, but you start thinking, could I be a bit leaner, or could I look like that, or whatever. It's a big problem. It's a big problem, and I heard something recently which was saying body dysmorphia in men is actually set to overtake body dysmorphia in women in the next 10 years, which, if you think about it, is absolutely insane, because typically women are aesthetically driven, so it's women who for the longest time have cared about the way they look, whereas now men, due to social media and all this lifting culture, are actually starting to become as body conscious, if not more, than women, which is absolutely mental. And obviously, the same social media thing doesn't help with women as well. Like it doesn't assist both genders, because you're just being shown the absolute pinnacle of human form on this algorithm. By the way, the pictures are edited. The people are like absolute genetic phenoms, and they're on steroids as well. So it's like, what we do in it? Do you know what I mean? It's a rough one, but I just almost like a bit of a therapy session for myself. I find that really creeping up. I mean, it bothers me, and it stops me from doing a lot of things. You know, it makes me anxious and like self-conscious, even though I look good and I've not been fat for years. But sometimes I still feel like I am. Like it feels like that part of me just never left, and it still feels like I am that way, and I feel the same, and it's weird, and it's all because of this culture that's been ingrained into me through years of watching these certain videos and looking at these certain people. It's just been so far ingrained into me. So that is really something at the moment that I'm looking to rework and change, because it's awful. It's really shit, and as I said, it just gives me another thing to think about, which I don't need. Like I don't need all these side projects going on. If you're struggling to make progress in something, you do not add, you subtract. You take things out of the equation. You don't add things to the equation. So the last thing I need is this new training method, or should I be bulking this way, or best rear delt exercise. It's the last thing I need. And if you can relate, then yo. But it is definitely something that we all need to become conscious of. That it is social media that's kind of fucking up our perceptions and beauty standards and whatever, and we all need to work hard to start rewiring that, because it's definitely something I'm working to do, and it's something I need to do, because I feel a lot of the times I project my insecurities, and that definitely affects other people and just myself. So it's definitely something I need to be working on to get better at into the future, big time. I really, really could do with doing that. If you overcome something similar, please let me know how you did it. For me at the moment, it's mainly just staying off social media and not being as hard on myself, really. I mean, obviously I still have standards. I wanna stay looking the way I am and stay looking good, but I'm not gonna jump off a bridge if I have a bad day, like of eating. I'm gonna not beat myself up about it. I'll be like, it happened. There's no going back now. It's already been and gone. So I'm not gonna beat myself up if I eat some chocolate or something like that. Granted, I don't like to often, but if I do, it's like no big deal. So that's the way I'm just gonna keep conditioning myself to think. I think it's important to so I'm sat here saying we need to remove ourselves from these beauty standards and all this. It's still really, really important to prioritise your health and at least have pride in the way you look. I'm not saying you need to be this 8% body fat geared up monster, but what I am saying is we all need to take responsibility of our health, and not by becoming these creatures, but just by starting to eat well and exercising. Obviously, that's not going to work all the time, but I don't want me saying that we need to remove ourselves from all these beauty standards to become an excuse for some people to just disregard health. So I'm going to caveat myself and say health is still a priority. Eating well, exercising, socialising, that's all health. So you don't want to neglect that. But it's a tricky one. You need to just not tie yourself to all these ridiculous standards and keep yourself grounded and just think what's reasonable for you to accomplish with your health goals, not what other people have accomplished. What can you accomplish? I'm going PT mode now. You hearing this? Talk about setting smart goals. But you've got to do that. You really have to do that. definitely still exercise, definitely still eat well, because you're going to feel great for it. But we need to be careful. It's a dangerous road. We don't want to start getting body dysmorphia and all that eating disorder stuff. So, if I'm making sense, let me know, please. What else did I want to talk about? Yeah, don't be so hard on yourself. Like, it's something I've struggled with for a while. Is if there's a certain way I want to eat. I want to have a select, it's like a 20 ingredient diet or whatever. Mainly whole foods and prioritising, fat and all of that. That's the way I want to eat, because that's the way I feel good when I eat, and I look my best when I eat like that. But if there's a day or two where I don't eat like that, I need to learn to not beat myself up, because in the past, and by past I mean very recent past, that would really, really bother me, and it would kind of ruin my day. But I need to practice not beating myself up, because to tie into a video I made a few episodes ago, it does over-optimizing make you weak. This kind of does. This example of, if I'm going about my day, eating my whole foods diet, and then I eat a bit of chocolate, am I going to be an absolute state for the rest of the day and be furious with myself? Or am I just going to go, oh, I ate a bit of chocolate, continue, So it's important to be not hard on yourself, and that's really important for me as well. And that's something I've really started implementing recently, is just not beating myself up so much, but then also still trying to maintain relatively good standards around my health, because ultimately that's the way I feel good. Like, when I eat that way, I feel my best. When I don't eat good, I don't feel great. I don't. But sometimes it's going to happen. It's not something I can avoid forever. And it's something that I do enjoy sometimes. So, sue me. Do you know what I mean? What else have I got to talk about? Just to kind of draw a line underneath this. If you are not into health and fitness right now, or you're struggling a little bit, you don't really know what to go PT mode really quick, and just give you a bit of insight and help. This is what I would recommend for everyone or anyone. This is like the underlying rule of thumb, in my opinion, for becoming healthier and happier. Find a type of exercise you enjoy. Try all sorts and just find something that you enjoy, because if you don't enjoy it, what's the point? Because you're not going to want to do it much, whereas if you do enjoy it, you're going to want to do it way more. So that's really, really important. So do that. Find a sport you enjoy, and then find a way of eating that's sustainable for you. So say you want to lose weight, or you want to eat prioritize whole foods or whatever, and you're a beginner, let's not jump in the deep end here. Let's not start losing weight by being in a massive calorie deficit. Let's start losing weight by being in a little one. Because if you're in a massive one, you're going to lose a lot of weight, but then as soon as you come off a diet, you're going to put it all back on. You're going to crash diet. And the same for the whole foods thing. If you want to start eating primarily whole foods, but you've never done it before, let's start with 60-70% whole foods, and then slowly add more and more whole foods into your diet until that's predominantly what you eat. That's really important, but to not start off too strong, because otherwise you might mess yourself up into the future. So that's my rule of thumb for being a healthy person. Do a sport you enjoy a good amount, a few times a week, because that'll keep you physically fit, and it'll, if it's a social sport, you'll be socialising, which is great, and it'll keep you in good shape, and it'll keep you happy or whatever. It can literally be any sport. It can be going gym and another sport. That was what it was for me. Whatever you want to do, as long as you enjoy it, so you want to do it more. And as I said with eating, pick a kind of way you want to eat, which makes you feel good and is healthy, because some people sit here and say, I can eat like shit and I feel great, but listen, you're not gonna thank yourself for that in a few decades down the line. So let's pick a healthier way of eating, which is sustainable for you personally, and let's slowly start integrating that into your lifestyle. And building you up to the type of person who can predominantly just do that without having other little bits as well. Right, that's me. I've actually waffled on here for quite a while. This is probably my longest episode yet, but I do go PT mode sometimes. And I hope this was helpful, or at least interesting. If any of you were struggling with things I struggle with or whatever, hope you found it helpful. Or if you've learned something, that's really cool as well. Please move the camera. Sorry. Please like, subscribe, comment any feedback, anything you think I need to work on. Yeah, and also, if you want, would be great. I'd greatly appreciate it. Comment topics you want me to actually talk about, because I can happily talk about anything. So if there's anything in particular, whether it's currently relevant within the world or any type of topic, just comment and let me know, because I'd be more than happy to talk about it on a future episode. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Good life. Thank you. Bye bye.